Friends, we are standing in front of the famous Napa Valley grape crusher statue, right here in Napa, California. Why? Because Grant and I are taking you on a special 360-degree tour of the Napa Valley, and this is our starting point. We're going to cover 36 miles from south to north. We'll show you gorgeous vineyard views and rolling hills. Along the way, we'll pass some of the most iconic wineries in the world, including Chandon, Opus One, Robert Mondavi, Gurgitch Hills, Charles Krug, Beringer, and way more. And so, with a little bit of movie magic, let's hop into the car and onto Highway 12. That's the highway just past the statue. We'll meet you there. And we're here, at the southern end of the Napa Valley. Grant and I have lived in Napa for 3 years now, and I honestly never get tired of this gorgeous view that's coming up. It's one of my favorite parts of the drive. To our left, you'll see in the distance San Pablo Bay, and on a clear day, you can even see the San Francisco skyline. To our right is the beautiful Napa River. The Napa River is 55 miles long, so basically it runs the length of the Napa Valley and beyond. It starts near the base of Mount St. Helena, which we're going to show you guys off in the distance, and the river flows all the way south to the Carquinez Strait and San Pablo Bay, which we just showed you. By the way, if you're planning to visit the Napa Valley in person one day, then this 360-degree drive is a great place to start your planning process. And there's no need to take notes because we've made it even easier for you. Grant and I have created a custom Napa Valley itinerary with our personal recommendations for food, wine, hotels, and sightseeing. You can access the itinerary link in the description below. And speaking of being in the right place, coming up on our left is the intersection that leads west to the Carneros region, which is the coolest part of the Napa Valley temperature-wise. They get that nice breeze from San Pablo Bay, and that's why it's the perfect place to grow Chardonnay, Merlot, and Pinot Noir. And if you're a fan of sparkling wine, head down that road and try out Domaine Carneros. It's a gorgeous French chateau, and they serve some really nice sparkling wine. Let us know in the comments below if you'd like us to do a 360 video of the Carneros region in a future episode. We can show you Domaine Carneros and some of our other favorite wineries down there. It's really beautiful. But today, we are on a mission to go all the way north. So be sure to stick around until the end because we have a storybook ending just for you. So we are going to fast forward a little bit and skip the next couple of miles, which is mostly residential and the shopping outlets. So we're skipping ahead to North Napa, which is where you'll start to see more vineyards. Coming up on our right is Ashes and Diamonds Winery, which describes itself as a love letter to Napa Valley as it was when it took the world stage in the 1960s. So if you're a fan of mid-century modern architecture and design, be sure to add Ashes and Diamonds to your itinerary. And right next to the winery is one of our favorite restaurants, Bistro Don Giovanni. It's a big hit with locals and visitors alike. It was also used as a filming location for the Japanese version of the hit movie Sideways. Get a table outside by the fountain if you can. My favorite dish there is the lemon cream ravioli. Yum. If you look to our left, you'll see a set of train tracks, and they're not just for show, they're actually used every single day by the Napa Valley Wine Train. The vintage train takes passengers up and down the Napa Valley, starting from its depot near downtown Napa. They have different packages you can choose, including lunch, dinner, and wine tasting. They even do murder mystery nights. And coming up on our left, you'll see a building with a green triangular roof. That's Laird Family Estate. It's a really cool winery to add to your list. They have a gorgeous back patio, and what's really cool is that they also sell wine by the glass, which is not very common here in the Napa Valley. Only a handful of wineries are allowed to sell wine by the glass, so Laird is a great option to either do a full tasting or just grab a glass in between appointments. They also offer a bottle and blanket option, where if you purchase a bottle or a tasting experience, then you can do a picnic on their grounds for free. You can bring your own food and make a day of it. As we make our way north, you'll see that we're wedged between two mountain ranges on our left and on our right. That's what makes this the Napa Valley. To our left is the Mayacamas mountain range, and just on the other side of the Mayacamas mountains is another world-famous wine-growing region, the Sonoma Valley. It's also very beautiful and definitely worth a trip on its own. And to our right on the eastern side of the valley is the Vaca mountain range. Together, the two mountain ranges form this protective pocket, if you will. The Mayacamas Mountains on the west shields us from some of the coastal influences that Sonoma County gets, being closer to the Pacific Ocean. And the Vaca Mountains to the east protect us from the scorching heat of the Central Valley. And that's part of what makes Napa wine so unique. So while we're talking about the layout of the valley, the highway that we're on is called Highway 29. It's a continuation of Highway 12, which is where we started our trip. And that's important to remember because there are basically two main highways that run parallel up and down the Napa Valley. We're on the west side on Highway 29, and on the east side, the main thoroughfare is called the Silverado Trail. It's also very beautiful with some amazing wineries of its own. And if you guys want to see the Silverado Trail, let us know in the comments below, and maybe we can do another 360 drive of the valley from the Silverado Trail perspective. Through these trees on our left, you'll see up ahead a big white building complex on the hillside. That's the Yountville Veterans Home, established in 1884 by veterans of the Civil War. It's still in use today and has room for about 800 residents and their spouses. And right below the Veterans Home is the Vintners Golf Club. It's a 9-hole championship public course. And I will say, even if you don't play golf, the clubhouse restaurant is worth a stop for breakfast or lunch. It's called the Lakeside Grill. Do yourself a favor and order the chips and salsa and upgrade to a side of guacamole. I kid you not, it's the biggest bowl of guac I've ever seen at a restaurant. It's the size of a bowl of cat food. And it's delicious. The guac, not the cat food. And we're now passing the town of Yountville on our right. With less than 3,000 residents, it's a small community with a huge impact on the world of wine and fine dining. It's home to what Anthony Bourdain described as the best restaurant in the world, period. The legendary French Laundry, which has not one, not two, but 3 Michelin stars. Grant and I were lucky enough to snag a reservation here earlier this year, and let me tell you, I was a little bit worried that it wouldn't live up to the hype. But it somehow even exceeded my expectations. If it's on your bucket list, definitely make sure you go. And as famous as the French Laundry is, there are plenty of other great restaurants in Yountville. If you like French food, be sure to check out Bouchon, which is another Thomas Keller establishment. It's super romantic and makes you feel like you're in Paris. I highly recommend the steak frites or the steamed mussels with fries. And here's a side tip, if you can't get a reservation for a table at Bouchon and you're willing to take a chance, see if you can snag a seat at the bar. They serve the full menu there. Other great Yountville eateries include Bouchon Bakery. If you love pastries, do not skip Bouchon Bakery. There's usually a line out the door, but you can actually order ahead online. And for a super fun, casual place to get elevated comfort food, check out another Thomas Keller restaurant called Ad Hoc. Be sure to order the fried chicken add-on. It costs extra, but it is so good and there's plenty to share. And for a fun, glamorous evening, book a table at RH Yountville. Try to get a reservation for after dark for the full effect. That's because you get to dine under some of the most lavish chandeliers you'll ever see, and seeing them at night is part of the experience. And the food is also great. And if you go there, my favorite thing to get at RH Yountville is the lobster roll. Buttery, decadent, delicious. And if you're looking for a fun farm-to-table experience, this restaurant on our left is a great choice. It's called Brix, B-R-I-X. In the wine industry, Brix is a term used to describe the dissolved sugar in wine. Brix, the restaurant, is known for its farm-fresh ingredients, and it actually grows its own vegetables and herbs in its on-site garden. Another great option to our left here is Mustard's Grill, which has been in business since 1983. They call themselves a deluxe truck stop, but don't expect a greasy spoon kind of place. It's really nice. Be sure to order their baby back ribs and cornbread. And my favorite is the mighty meatloaf with mashed potatoes. Here's another tip about Mustard's. It's actually a great landmark. If you're driving up Highway 29 and you see Mustard's Grill, then be sure to look ahead to your left to see the famous Welcome to Napa Valley sign. And please be careful driving here, especially on crowded weekends. You'll see that the road has a double yellow line, meaning please don't cross traffic trying to hang a left. Just keep going until you can make a safe and legal left turn. That said, the iconic Welcome to Napa Valley sign has been welcoming visitors since 1949, so it's definitely worth a stop. As a bonus tip, there are actually 2 Welcome to Napa Valley signs. This one is definitely more popular, but we'll show you its twin when we get further north. I'll point it out, but coming up is one of my favorite roadside stops in the valley. It's called Oakville Grocery, and it's iconic. It was founded in 1881 and is the oldest continually operating grocery store in California. And on weekends, it's usually packed with people getting lunch, snacks, or a nice glass of wine. And it's coming up here, it's the building right there with a red tile roof, and the Victorian building next to it is a wine tasting lounge and a museum of Napa Valley's agricultural and winemaking history. And right next to Oakville Grocery is the iconic Opus One Winery. That's the driveway, and the winery itself sits on top of that grassy mound in the distance. It was founded in 1978 by Philippe de Rothschild and Napa Valley's own Robert Mondavi. Speaking of Robert Mondavi, just on the other side of the road here to our left is Robert Mondavi Winery. But as you can see, it's temporarily closed for renovations through 2025. However, Robert Mondavi does have a tasting room that's open in downtown Napa. It's at the Arch and Tower, which is a historic stone building on the Napa River. As a quick aside, if you're enjoying this video, then please give us a like and subscribe. We'd very much appreciate it. I'd also invite you to check out our winery tour playlist, which I'll link to in the description below. Coming up on our right is Sequoia Grove Winery, tucked in behind those gorgeous sequoia trees. We actually filmed a food and wine pairing episode there recently, which we'll be posting soon. But spoiler alert, it is fantastic. The menu and the wine pairings are super creative and unexpected. Highly recommend. So coming up on our right, you'll see a bunch of naked tree trunks. To me, they look like a herd of brontosaurus from the movie Jurassic Park, right? Kind of. Well, they're actually 40-foot sycamore trees lining the driveway of Peju Winery. Peju is one of those wineries that we haven't tried yet, but it's definitely high on our list to try. So we are now in the town of Rutherford. We have a few cool spots that are bunched together here, so I'll talk fast. On the left is Francis Ford Coppola's Inglenook Winery. You might even see his Oscar for The Godfather on display. On our right is Elizabeth Spencer Winery. Across the street is the Rutherford Grill. Get the famous prime rib. And that stone building next to it is Beaulieu Vineyard, home of the 2019 Private Reserve Cab Sauv. It received a perfect 100 points from wine critic James Suckling. Phew, that was a lot of information for a short stretch of highway, so thanks for sticking with us. But the fun doesn't stop there. Up ahead on our left, that white building, is Gergich Hills Estate, which was founded by the legend who helped put Napa Valley on the map, Miljenko or Mike Gergich. He was the head winemaker at Chateau Montelena back in the 1970s. He made the Chardonnay that beat the French in the famous Paris tasting of 1978. That win catapulted the Napa Valley to worldwide fame, and Mike Gergich is a huge reason why the valley is what it is today. And to our right are a couple of wineries that we haven't visited yet, but we've heard great things about. This one is Alpha Omega Winery. They have some gorgeous fountains in the front, and it just looks like an amazing place to wine taste. And then this really modern, dark-colored complex next to it is the Prisoner Wine Company. It looks super cool, and I would love to try their wine and dim sum pairing one day. And right next door is Raymond Vineyards, one of our favorite wineries to visit. We actually did an episode on this last year, but more recently, we did a winemaker for a day experience for Grant's mom's birthday, which is a really fun opportunity to create your own wine blend. You get to name your wine and design your own label. To our left, just down the road from those open gates, is Del Dotto Estate Winery and Caves, one of the valley's most beautiful wineries to visit. You can do a cave experience and barrel tasting for $120, but it's reservation only, so be sure to book your experience ahead of time. So that red road sign up ahead means we're approaching St. Helena, another really popular place to visit here in the Napa Valley. We're approaching the southern end of St. Helena here, which has a lot of well-visited wineries. And actually, one of the first wineries I've ever visited is coming up on our right. It's called Visa Tui Winery. It's the winery where everyone I know takes their out-of-town guests. And for good reason. The grounds are beautiful, the wine is amazing, and it's family and pet friendly. I mean, obviously don't give your toddler or your golden doodle a sip of your wine, but you can buy a nice lunch from their on-site deli and enjoy it with your family in their picnic area. And real quick to our left is the Michelin-starred restaurant Press. The food is amazing and it has one of the most extensive wine lists in the entire valley. Now, coming up to our left is probably the best wine tasting bargain in the Napa Valley at Sutter Home Winery. Here you can wine taste for as little as $10 a person. For comparison, most other wineries in Napa charge about $50 to $60 minimum for wine tasting, so $10 is a great deal. You can see exactly what that $10 tasting is like in our Sutter Home Winery tour video, which we'll link to in the description below. By the way, I know we're zipping along the highway here, and there are so many more great wineries and restaurants than we have time to mention in a single video. So if there's a winery or a restaurant or some other place that we missed or didn't get to talk about this time, then please comment with your suggestions below. We'd love to have you share your favorites with us and our channel community. As we move north, closer to downtown St. Helena, we'll pass by several delicious food options. They're all next to each other, so I'll keep the descriptions pretty brief. Up ahead to our left, where the red umbrella is Azteca Market. The burritos are cheap, delicious, and massive. To our right is Farmstead, with elevated farmhouse cuisine, super cute. Also on our right is Charter Oak. Start with the Charter Oak bread with cultured butter. Trust me. And to our left is everyone's favorite burger stand, Gott's Roadside. Everything on the menu is good, save room for the hand-spun milkshakes. So now we're heading into downtown St. Helena. If you're looking for a place to stay or spend the whole day while you're here in the valley, then St. Helena is a great option. There are several nice inns, shops, and restaurants all within walking distance. We'll point out some of our go-to spots as we pass them. Starting with Lolo's Consignment Shop to our right for great shopping. Also to our right is Café de la Valle, a great coffee shop. To our left is the Station gas station and food counter. Get the pimento cheese breakfast sandwich. And there are way too many cool shops and eateries here for me to list fast enough. But some of our favorites along this stretch are Napa Valley Vintage Home, a home goods store that will make you feel like you're the lead in a Nancy Meyers movie. It's that beautiful aesthetic. Napa Book Mine, which has new and used books. Gilwood's Cafe for breakfast diner food. And Model Bakery, which serves up English muffins that were named among Oprah's favorite things. St. Helena also has Cameo Cinema, a renovated non-profit movie theater built in 1913. It's a single-screen theater that shows a mix of independent and studio films. So if you have a free evening, it's a great way to support a locally owned historic movie theater. Grant and I always enjoy driving through St. Helena. I mean, the commercial Main Street obviously has a lot going on, but we also love this part coming up ahead, where we get to see these gorgeous historic homes. Grant and I like to play this game, which we informally call Would You Buy That House? It's where we take turns pointing out houses and asking the other person, would you buy that? The answer is almost always yes around here. I mean, all these homes are just so charming and full of character. And you know, St. Helena as a town has a fascinating history. It was incorporated in 1876 and was basically the commercial hub of the Upper Valley. It's where people from miles around would go to see a doctor or buy a pair of shoes or go to a parade. The railroad that ran through here helped the community ship out their fruit, their grain, and their mining products. And of course, their wine. And the downtown area that we just drove through is listed as a National Historic District. Pretty cool. And speaking of history, on our left is Beringer Vineyards, which is one of Napa's most historic wineries. It was established in 1876, so basically the same year that St. Helena became a town. And we love recommending it to friends because they offer a family and pet-friendly sip and stroll experience. For $20 a person, you get to pick out a glass of wine from their menu and go on a self-directed stroll of the gardens. It's a really fun, low-cost way to enjoy wine and see a historic winery while you're at it. And you might be wondering what this Hogwarts-looking building on our left is. Well, it is a school, but it's not for witchcraft and wizardry. It's the Culinary Institute of America. And to our right is the first winery in the Napa Valley, Charles Krug. Charles Krug Winery was founded in 1861 and was purchased by the Mondavi family in 1943. Today, it's still a family-owned business that's now in its fourth generation of ownership. And what's really cool is that they often host outdoor concerts and shows at Charles Krug. So if you're planning a visit here, be sure to check out their event schedule to see if your trip lines up with an event. Another favorite winery of ours is up the road to our right. I'll point it out when we pass it. It's called Freemark Abbey. Grant and I did a winery tour video here last year. We'll include a link below. But one of the things that we love about Freemark Abbey, besides the great wine, is that there's so much more to it than meets the eye. From the outside, it looks like any ordinary, older stone building. But on the inside, it's really contemporary. So you have that juxtaposition of the historic look on the outside, but a tastefully done contemporary flair on the inside, and it's right here on our right. We definitely recommend adding Freemark Abbey to your list. And since we just passed a bright yellow bus, I think that's a good reminder for us to talk about public transportation in the Napa Valley. It's a question that we get asked a lot. So yes, we do have a bus system. It's called the Vine Transit. And fares range from 80 cents for seniors to $1.60 for a regular adult fare. The bus system can be a useful way to get from town to town. However, it doesn't really stop near most wineries. As you can see, it's pretty rural out here. So if you're planning to do some wine tasting and you don't want to drive your own car, then I suggest looking into other options. On the cheaper end, you can try to get an Uber or Lyft. Caveat though, it's pretty easy to get a rideshare pickup from Napa to a winery, but it can be a lot harder to get a driver to pick you up from a winery. There just aren't a lot of drivers out here, so you might have to wait a while for someone to pick up your ride. Other transportation options include hiring a private driver. It's pricey, but maybe you could offset the cost by splitting it with a group of friends. Or if you're staying in the town of Calistoga, which we're headed to, they do have a $1 on-demand shuttle that can take you anywhere within the city limits. If you have any questions about how to get around the Napa Valley, just let us know in the comments below. Anyway, on our left here is another pretty cool historic landmark. Just go down that road and you'll find the Bale Grist Mill. It's another family-friendly option. The state park features a mill from 1846, and it's still functioning if you can believe it. The old water wheel that drives the millstones was restored in 2020. There's also some nice hiking trails around here, and it's only $8 for adults and $3 for kids. Children under 6 are free. And to our left is one of the coolest antique shops in the area. It's called Character, a really lovely French antique store. I mean, they have dining tables from old monasteries, they have storage chests from the 17th century. Basically, if I won the lottery and could build the chateau of my dreams, my interior decorator would be shopping at this place. And this tan building to our right is Madrigal Family Winery. It's a family-owned winery, and their flagship wine happens to be Petite Sirah, which is Grant's favorite. Coming up to our left is the entrance to Bothay Napa Valley State Park. Bothay is a great place to hike or go for a picnic if you're here for a day. If you're here for longer, which we highly recommend, Bothay is also a really cool place for camping. Camping fees range from $6 for tent sites if you're walking or biking in, to $43 for drive-up campsites. You can book a yurt starting at $65 a night, and some of the yurts are actually pet-friendly, so you can bring your dog for an extra fee. We took our dog here last year and he absolutely loved it. If you prefer glamping, then Bothay also offers fully contained cabins starting at $125 a day. By the way, remember when I said earlier that the Welcome to Napa Valley sign had a twin? Well, here it is to our right. And now we're just around the corner from one of the most famous wineries in the Napa Valley. It's actually ranked as one of the most Instagrammed wineries in the world, Castello di Amorosa. That's where all the cars are lined up to enter here on our left. Just up that driveway is a beautiful hilltop, Tuscan-style, medieval castle. I mean, it's a legitimate castle, with a moat and a drawbridge, ramparts and turrets, a chapel, an armory, a torture chamber, and of course, wine cellars. We actually posted 2 winery tour videos of the castle, including tips on how to make the most of your time there. We'll include the links below. But just know that you can't get through the front gates without a pending pickup order or a reservation. Right now, the least expensive option is a $60 seated tasting, but that includes admission to the castle, and you need a reservation per person. You can't just make one and bring a group with you. And if you're bringing kids, it's $20 per child. Obviously they can't drink wine, but they do get grape juice. Coming up ahead to our right is a white farmhouse building called Toomey Winery. Toomey is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. That means between June and August 2024, they're offering a special 25th anniversary vertical tasting. So you'll get to taste their Anderson Valley Pinot Noir from 4 different vintages, 2019 through 2022, and it's only $25 a person. By the way, in addition to being a great winery, Toomey is also a great landmark. If we had turned right at the Toomey intersection, we would reach 2 of our favorite wineries here in Calistoga. One is Sterling Vineyards, which is the only winery in the world accessible by aerial train. We recently did a video on it, so we'll link to that as well. The views from Sterling's gondola and terrace are well worth the price of admission. $55 will get you a sip and stroll ticket at Sterling. That means you can sip wine and go on a self-guided tour of the property. The gondola ride is included. The other winery down that lane that we love is Clos Pegase. If you can, do the winery cave tour, which includes a wine and light bites pairing. We've done it twice now. It is so good. And be sure to try the Clos Pegase Homage Reserve Chardonnay. It's my favorite Chardonnay in the entire valley. So just up the road here, we'll be passing downtown Calistoga. We'll share some of our favorite spots. For Mexican food, try Pacifico Restaurante. It's right on the main strip. My go-to is the Chile Relleno. They have happy hour every day from 4 to 6:30, and beer is as cheap as $5. For coffee, try Calistoga Roastery or Sam's General Store. Calistoga is known for its hot springs and spas. Now, I haven't tried all of them, that would be a really cool bucket list item, but I did try Golden Haven Spa with some friends, and it was a really nice experience. So if you make a right at the stop sign, this will take you directly to downtown Calistoga, where all those places I mentioned are located. But up here to our left is the legendary Buster's Barbecue. The meat is smoked and grilled to perfection, and the sauce is tangy, sweet, and oh so delicious. My usual order is the pulled pork sandwich with a side of cornbread and baked beans. And save room for dessert because the handmade pies are a must. So with a little bit of movie magic, we just fast forwarded through some residential areas. But if you find yourself up in this neck of the woods, then make a left at the stoplight and keep going for about 4 miles. You'll find yourself in the famous petrified forest of Calistoga. It's one of the best preserved ancient forests in the world. When Mount St. Helena erupted 3.4 million years ago, it knocked down the prehistoric redwoods that once stood there. The volcanic ash buried the trees, deprived them of oxygen, and basically disrupted the decomposition process. What happened instead was that minerals started filling the pores of the redwood with silica, hence turning them into giant fossils. It's a really cool place to visit, and the entrance fee is only $12 per adult, $11 for seniors, and $6 to $8 for kids. Kids under the age of 6 are free. Also, the petrified forest is dog-friendly, but be sure to keep your dog on leash. And once you see this liquor store on our right, you can actually turn down this lane to see two must-see Calistoga landmarks. The first one is the Calistoga Old Faithful Geyser. Now, when you think of Old Faithful, you probably picture the famous Old Faithful Geyser at Yellowstone National Park. Well, there are actually 3 geysers in the world that have that designation as Old Faithful. Obviously, the one in Yellowstone is the most famous. There's a second one in New Zealand, and the third one is right here in Calistoga. You can visit the Geyser Center and Museum for only $15 for adults. The geyser shoots up about 60 feet in the air every 15 to 30 minutes or so. It's a really cool sight. And your admission ticket also gives you access to the entire property. There's plenty of seating for picnics, so you can bring your own food and wine and spend the day there. There's also a little animal farm with a few alpacas, goats, and sheep that you can actually feed. It's a really nice, low-key place to relax. The other landmark down that road is Chateau Montelena, the legendary winery whose Chardonnay beat the French in the blind tasting of 1978. Chateau Montelena is a gorgeous property, with a historic stone building and a beautiful jade lake with swans and pergolas. Even if you don't get a chance to book a wine tasting there, at least swing by and see the lake. And check out the display case showing a bottle of the original 1973 vintage that won the Judgment of Paris. There's a bottle just like it in the Smithsonian Institute. So we are now approaching the end point of our journey, but we're not done yet. We're on the eastern slopes of the Mayacamas mountain range. At the beginning of this journey, we promised you a storybook ending, and that's exactly how we're capping off today's tour, with a wine and picnic celebration at the famous Storybook Mountain Vineyards. And we just want to give a huge shout out, a huge thank you to the Storybook Mountain team, especially Colleen Williams for opening their gates and inviting us to toast the end of our tour today in Storybook's famous Redwood Grove. I mean, what a special experience, what an honor for us. Wine critic Robert Parker once described Storybook Mountain as representing the pinnacle of wine quality in California. It's been recognized as having one of the 6 best Zinfandels in the world. And if you know us, you know we love Zinfandel, and Storybook Mountain produces some of our all-time favorite Zins. And we're toasting today with Storybook Mountain's Bottled Poetry Zinfandel. It's such a beautiful, well-balanced wine and one of our favorites. But you don't have to take our word for it. You can order this wine online. I'll include a link to their shop below. Or better yet, you can visit Storybook Mountain yourself and do the wine tasting and cave tour. So thank you again to Storybook Mountain for sharing your beautiful property with us. And thank you to all of you viewers for sticking around with us until the end. We hope you enjoyed our 360 tour of the Napa Valley. If there's anything you'd like us to cover in a future video, please comment below. We'd love to hear from you. So, cheers to you, and see you next time.